Heyo.
Hey!
Where are we?
We're in Santiago, Chile. The top of the Sky Costanero. So, it's a pretty big city.
Confirmed. We're out for our city stroll with a 13 UV index. We are about to hop on the metro to go do a Segway tour, something I've been wanting to do for a weirdly long time, and I'm only finally doing today.
Hey, big city!
Hey,
Hey!
this is our favorite tour guide. Wait, no, here, this one. One of the things that's notable is just the variety of building types and the different styles they represent. For example, Spanish style building. Wave! Okay, what time is it?
It's time for dinner.
Pizza dinner time. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're in the Tierra del Fuego National Park in Argentina. We got this beautiful glacial lake. You could call this man beautiful, I guess.
Glacial Lake, Kyle.
Things we learned about this area is 12,000 years ago, this would have been covered in a glacier. And because of that, a lot of the fauna and flora is still like relatively stunted. That combined with being really cold all the time, things just take a really long time to grow. There's not a lot of soil. And you know, being covered by ice for thousands of years will do that.
Beautiful Tierra del Fuego.
So it's catamaran time for lunch, and that takes us down to our ship that we will board in 3 or 4 hours. That's a poop-covered rock if ever I've seen one. It's very picturesque. All right, we're on board.
We are on board. What are we on board of?
The Nat Geo Resolution.
Resolution.
So there's some other ship, but we have this big viewing area. At some point, we're going to be looking at Antarctica from here, so that's neat. Here's the cabin. I'm so excited. Been waiting for a year for this. So I got my bed here. Some storage, my bags. I'll have the patio. And eventually out of there is going to be Antarctica. Okay, parka fitting. Take one.
The parka fitting. Gotta make sure my new parka fits me.
Let's see the badges on your left shoulder.
Okay.
So we got Nat Geo there.
And pretty soon I'll
And
have,
50 years heritage exploration of Antarctica.
by the end of the trip, I'll have a patch on here that says, did the polling pledge.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Here's our big lounge where we get our briefing every day. So everyone can sit at a table with their own screen and see what's going on. Learn about the day ahead or learn about what they found during the day. Cheers.
Cheers.
On board.
Finally on board after a year and plus of planning, huh?
We're officially off on our way to Antarctica. I think it's 2 more days? Is it 2 more days?
About 2
Until we
days.
get there?
Yep.
Yeah, like about 2 days to cross the Drake. All right, so we're something like halfway across the passage. You can see here, that little dot is us. That's the tip of South America, and there is Antarctica. So we're going over to the Weddell Sea, which is kind of in this area, give or take. And we're gonna get there in something like 30-ish hours or so. You can see, of course, it's gotten pretty foggy, and our understanding is that this is a direct result of the Antarctic convergence, which is the point at which basically all the water and air starts sort of going around the pole. And because of that, the temperature dramatically drops off in the water, and it becomes just a whole different environment. So I'll go outside, even without a jacket, just to take a peek. It's pretty eerie because there's no land within like 100 miles, and all you get is just the fog here. We're here! It's the first iceberg! Sitting in the sauna with the steam, we just saw our very first iceberg. It's actually the first one I've ever seen in my life. We're not yet in view of the continent proper, but we are seeing islands. And we're doing our first landing in just a few hours here, so it feels sort of like the culmination of a year worth of planning. That's really exciting. It feels really special, and I'm very grateful for it. Time to go check out the bridge. You know, I'm very conscious that at some point it's just going to be the same looking ice over and over, but it's so cool in person that, you know what? You can see it too. Hello, little penguin buddies. We're officially in Antarctica. We're right here. So we're very, very close to the actual continent, but our first expedition is just going to be to an island called Weddell Island. So I see some of the boats are getting ready to go outside. We have our warm gear going on. It's only like 40 degrees out or something like that, so it's not a crazy temperature. So it'll be first landfall on an island that is on the continental plate, I suppose, but tomorrow is the official landing onto the continent of Antarctica, and it'll be number 7 for me, kind of ultimately the driver behind this trip. So I'm excited to head out. You ready to do your two-handed sailor grip?
Two-handed sailor grip. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a beautiful boat. That is the biggest penguin party I've ever seen. No doubt. 7 continents. Right here, right now. Check. Wait, no, I want more food. Just waiting for mom and dad to come back. It's another gorgeous day here in Antarctica. We've moved, I think it's like 30 miles since yesterday's expedition, but there's some more beautiful stuff around here. So we'll see what the day brings, but it sure looks like it's going to be sunshine and ice for sure, and we'll see what else. Trying to pull us up against the ice, so we might even get off and walk on it. Could be. All right, the captain has said that we're gonna try to walk on it, and he's going to send first snowshoers, then staff out to basically tramp down a trail for everyone to then follow behind. Down we go. Here we are, officially landed on a sheet of ice. There's the boat. It's hard work. The ice is surprisingly coarse, which I guess makes sense, but it's kind of like what you would expect from a really nice ice machine. Yum. Sun reflection's making it really easy to see, but we're pretty sure these are waddling tracks from the penguins who've come and visited this ice as well. It's about 10 p.m. This is from laying in bed and just watching the ice float by, moving pretty slow. It's magical. All right, we're on Friday. It's going to be our last day in the Weddell Sea area. Behind me is James Ross Island, and today we're going to be kayaking before we do a polar plunge. And then we head on somewhere else and we're going to do a landing and some hiking, it sounds like. So it's another beautiful day. We've gotten pretty exceptionally lucky with all the sunshine here. Good things ahead. It's kayak time. Here you can really get a sense of just a little tiny ice on top and then a ton of ice down below. There's the boat off in the distance. We're the baby boat and that's the mama boat. You know, when I actually think about it, it makes sense and I feel dumb. But all this ice is just surprisingly hard and heavy. Like anything that's made of solid ice is, I suppose. Okay, take this for example. It looks kind of snowy, but no. It's just solid ice. Give it a tap. Yeah. And it's heavy, you can't move it easily. The longer we've been in the Weddell Sea, the more I've come to appreciate that it is like a very special, cool place. And there's a number of things that make it really interesting. One is that in the winter, this is all just completely ice for hundreds of miles of ice. So it's uncommon that you can come here anytime other than a pretty short period. It also means there's a ton of ice around us, where if you go to the other side of the Antarctic Peninsula, there's just not as much, nowhere near as dramatic. And what else? I mean, there's, beautiful scenery. We are seeing orcas here, tons of birds, tons of penguins, of course. It's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I guess the other thing that's notable is not many other ships can come here. So we've seen one other ship and they were just passing by our entire few days here. Whereas when we go to the other side, we expect to see a few more ships. So it's been a special stop. It's an absolutely beautiful day, specifically a beautiful day for a polar plunge. See down here. The water is negative 0.1 degrees. Negative water! So we finished our polar plunge, and now it's time to hot tub it up and look at the glaciers. Gotta do the wet landing part, you know?
Have we got the back, please?
So we're just hanging out on James Ross Island. We just did our wet landing where you get your boots in the water, and this little Weddell seal is just hanging out. Apparently they're one of the few that live only in this area in the Weddell Sea, hence the name. So, just taking a nap, hanging out. What a way to move. Hello, James Ross Island. Cool place. Birds, fossils, Antarctica. I love seeing the ice along the beach here. It's all just washed up. Very dramatic. And there's our boat, waiting for us to come back. And those are a bunch of kelp gulls just hanging out, doing their thing. I still just can't get over that at first glance, sure, it's just snowy mountains, but then also there's giant icebergs floating in the water. It's very cool. As I'm walking, I'm realizing when I go to put this all into video, it's probably going to seem pretty random, but the way our day looks like is we wake up, we have breakfast, we go on some kind of an expedition for an hour or two, come back, have lunch, hang out, repeat the expedition part, and then call it a night, have some food, hang out, have some drinks. So each of these little expeditions is special, but I probably won't include much of the other stuff because it's not as interesting. So it's just a series of strung together little activities that we're doing, but that's the context for what's happening and why you'll see like a different island each time or a different activity like going on kayaks. So it's fun. I'm assuming these are just bird poops, but man, that comes out with some velocity. Good morning. Today is an interesting day because we have officially crossed over the Antarctic Peninsula. So we were here for the last few days. Overnight, we crossed all the way around to here. So we expect to see some different things on this part of the peninsula. We still actually haven't set foot on the continent proper, just the islands around. So I think in the next day or two, hopefully we're going to do that. But exciting looking day ahead. You gonna wave?
You waving for me?
Just hanging out at Spurt Island. We're wrapping up our second to last evening here in Antarctica. We had a beautiful day. We saw 2 penguins. What else? We saw a bunch of chin-strap penguins, which unsurprisingly you can tell they are chin-strap penguins because they have a little chin strap around them. We saw a humpback whale, so it's been a very cool day. Like all the other ones before it. Hopefully like all the ones to come. Last day in Antarctica. We are still on the western side of the peninsula. We're doing our first official landing on the mainland. So while technically we've been on the continental plate on some islands, this will be the first time that we actually step foot on Antarctica proper, mainland, the continent, depending on what technicality you want to claim. But we'll be cruising around the Zodiacs and doing a couple landings today before we get headed for Patagonia. Last Antarctic island for the trip. Vega Island. We got a number of penguins here. It's nice and smelly as we've come to expect. Kind of sad, kind of exciting. Check out this giant whale bone. And some kind of vertebrae or something. There's your cone for scale. using their little penguin highways. Easier to cover ground that they just keep going over and over. But at a certain point, all I can see is their heads peeking above. They've gone so much lower than the rest of it. And that's a wrap on Antarctica. This is the last little bit of land that we're going to be seeing, and ice, of course, before we get headed back across the Drake Passage. We're expecting a little bit stronger seas, so hopefully all goes well with that. And I think I'm going to leave you all here and end the video. Next up is going to be in Patagonia, where we're going to be doing a number of the Chilean and the Argentinian fjords. Some hiking, some kayaking, hopefully, and we'll see. But anyway, this is already long enough, so check out the next one, and I'm off to dinner. Take care.